But you have people, Democrats, they say, I don't know if we should have done Venezuela. I don't know. Anybody that says that hates our country, okay? That was as flawless an attack as there has ever been. And they asked us to help them. They have 50 million barrels of oil. They said, take it. It's $5 billion.
So you hate America if you question why we went to Venezuela when the president seems to suggest it was because we got oil? Do we need the oil? Aren't gas prices coming down because we have an excess of supply and demand is dropping off? Let's talk about how this looks from inside the Department of Energy. Trump's Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, played a crucial role in the White House's effort in Venezuela. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Chris, help me understand. I can't believe that we went in there to help people get away from a dictator because they offered us 30 or 50 million barrels of oil. So why do you believe it's in America's interest to get involved in the danger that surrounds the oil fields in Venezuela?
Well, for the first thing, look at what's gone on in Venezuela for the last 20 years. I mean, it's the headquarters for Hezbollah in the Western Hemisphere. Russian is on the ground. Chinese missionaries are not missionaries. Mercenaries are there to protect the dictator. China's been buying their oil way below market price. All of our adversaries have been aiding a narco-terrorist state that's been exporting guns, crime, and immigrants to our country. So we've had a lot of problems with Venezuela for 20 years. And I'll tell you, back to your point about the oil, for the first time in 2 decades, no one is stealing Venezuelan oil. That's the genius of President Trump.
Well, the genius would be to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. But why is that America's job? And does that mean that American boots should be on the ground there to protect Venezuela's oil fields?
No, there won't be American boots on the ground. We don't need American boots on the ground. But that oil has been being stolen by internal narco gangs that divert that oil, internal corruption in their state oil company. China's been buying it at way below market prices. Venezuela's been economically collapsing because everyone has been stealing their oil. Now, in partnership with the United States, we are selling their crude at full market prices, bringing that money back to Venezuela to benefit a Venezuelan society so they can stamp out the criminality, the gangs, and displace our adversaries out of their country and start a future of cooperation together that'll win for the American people and that'll win for the people of Venezuela. Tell me what's wrong with this genius idea.
Well, I don't know that it's a genius idea, but why don't I think it's a genius idea? Because is it wrong that people are buying the oil at sub-market prices? Yes, unless I think selfishly about how that affects the world market overall, given Venezuela's supply percentage and whether it keeps my energy prices down, even if they are being victimized. But if I look at it in terms of the strategy, my fear is extension of America into danger where it's not worth it. And we don't need Venezuela's oil. We don't need the market to get any higher, right? People want prices to be lower. And listening to the oil execs, Mr. Secretary, they were saying, we're not going there under the, you gotta make it safe down there for us before we go. And I don't think that's acceptable.
So, first of all, a number of American companies are already there today and are anxious to reinvest and grow their production. In fact, that's happening in the coming weeks.
Great, that's their choice.
Tons of American entrepreneurs want to, exactly, these are business decisions. We're not bringing troops on the ground. We're enabling the government of Venezuela to finally bring stability and reduce the criminality in their country. And we're doing that by controlling the flow of funds. No American troops, no guns. We're just creating the conditions that'll drive American investment in that country, which will grow global oil production, which will make energy more affordable for Americans, will allow American security to grow, and reduce the criminality out of that country. It's a win for the people of Venezuela, a win for Americans. And no troops, no guns, no bullets.
That is the best part, right? Because, of course, you don't want to see anybody under despotic rule, let alone here at home. But it's about what price is it to America? Because by your reasoning, hey, a lot of people are getting their oil cheap. You know who else gets cheap oil? Iran to China. They buy a huge chunk of Iran's oil. So does that mean it makes sense for America to go in there and stop that?
No, I'm just saying that people of Iran, like the people of Venezuela, have been getting screwed by a tyrannical government that has caused economic implosion, partially because they can't sell their oil at market prices. China wins for sure. Criminals and smugglers win, but the people of Iran don't win, just like the people of Venezuela haven't been winning. But yes, we should not do this as a sacrifice to America. What's beautiful about Venezuela is it's a big win for America, and it's a win for Venezuela. That's President Trump. Use commerce and trade and energy, not guns and conflict.
But I hear you, Mr. Secretary, but that's what he promised. But he bombed in Iran because of the nukes. Okay. He's bombed other places in Syria. He's bombed, now he's promising to bomb maybe in Iran. We'll see. But Venezuela was not exactly negotiated, Mr. Secretary. He went in there using the might of the strongest army in the history of creation to pluck out the dictator. And who got killed, who didn't, we're still not clear on it. But it wasn't exactly a negotiation.
No, you're right. I mean, he arrested President Maduro, who President Biden had a $25 million bounty on his head. That's the risk that was viewed by the previous administration he posed to the United States of America. Now he's arrested, and he will face trial in custody with his wife. That took the American military in a genius operation. But that was it. Take him and take his wife, and we quarantine their oil exports, and now we have leverage. And we're dealing with the people in power, which were part of his government. These are not democratic princes, but we're dealing with them to bring stability and prosperity back to the country and ultimately transition to a representative government with a military involvement in Venezuela that lasted hours and did not lead to a single American soldier dying.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright, I appreciate your perspective. Thank you for looping us in on it here. I'll talk to you again. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.